Welcome back to another edition of the Daily St. Pete's Film Room. It is week 8 or 9 or 7th game of the season. I don't even know at this point. It's me, Robert Steeg, here for you. I also have with me, as always, the knowledgeable, the beautiful, the man that's wanted in 3 of the 4 Scandinavian countries, Seth Varnadore, here to break down a little bit of Film Room, looking back at some USF versus Temple. Very close game for once for USF. Temple squeaked by with a 39-37 victory. A lot of controversy by the coaching staff at the last about 3 minutes of game time there. Seth, let's break this down. Let's start with the real ugly stuff. Let's look at that defense.
All right, let's go ahead and get started here. All right, so we'll start with the defenses. Early in the game, this is something that people are doing a lot to USF, and it's getting no edge on one of the sides. So right here, you have kind of a tight end body here. You have another tight end here, right? Do you? Yeah. So, and then you got receiver out there. So they get the backer to bounce this way. He's going to motion inside. And they got the run off the edge here. And that's what people are doing. But some people are asking, is it misdirection that's causing it? It's just this soft edge. Because right here, you see how tight the lineman is right here. He's in a 4-eye, which is inside eye of the tackle on both sides. So when you have a tight end, you kind of bump the backers over there. You see the linebacker walked up. To this side, you got no edge player. So this is what teams are doing. This is what ECU did. ECU got in this and then pulled 2 guys this way. They're just going to run zone. So it's an easy reach block for the guard. And then the tackle can just climb to the second level immediately. And the tackle doesn't really get off for Mike Hampton, but the running back gains, 8 yards before he's even touched.
And Seth, just to kind of ask this, because I'm curious on this as well. I'm actually stumped on it. What's the biggest benefit to having your basically your 2 defensive ends line up as close in the inside as that is? It seems very tight, and it doesn't seem like it benefits this formation at all.
So why people have gone to it is these guys can play kind of the B gap, and they can kind of control this. And then this allows, I think, the benefit of it. It's kind of something that Iowa State's kind of started with, and a lot of people are using different versions of it. But the benefit, I think, is it makes it easier under linebackers, and they can kind of fly around the ball. But it also, the way they're playing it, these guys got to be pretty good off the edge and run. And the motion, they're not, unless they're in straight man, you shouldn't be carrying that off. You see him kind of pointing over there for the motion, but then he gets kind of lost inside too. Whereas you'd like to see him maybe be a little bit tighter here, and now he's coming up to make this play at the line of scrimmage instead of running sideways, making a play after he's already gained a first down. So having those guys inside allows your linebackers to do a lot of stuff, which I think they probably want to put a lot on their linebackers when they have those 2 good guys out there. But it makes it tough. And then so you'll get a similar look here. After the shift, they actually have 3 tight ends in the game. And again, he's inside the tight end right here. They went to a 4 down, but there's nobody adjusting outside the tight end. So now they're going to run the jet. They're not going to block the ends. A lot of teams will do that on the backside of jet, and they're just going to run zone in here. And now since I'm not blocking him, 1 for you, 1 for you. So right here, a blocker, and they're basically cutting him loose. A lot of teams will do that in college on the backside of the jet. And that's just easy pickings. But it's because there's no edge player. There's nobody kind of forcing this edge here. Here's after the fumble. So there's a touchdown on the first drive. Here's after the fumble. The defense gets put in a bad spot. There again with that 4 down look. This play got caught a little bit late. But if you look at the look that they were in here, the 4 down lineman, instead of the 3, they're in the same look here. They're going to slant and drop him, bring outside backer and inside backer on a blitz. Force a quick throw, take away kind of any of the quick slants and stuff underneath that you might throw if you're hot. Force a quick throw, well defended. So there were times this game where they defended really well. Here's one with a little blitz, bring a little pressure, get the ball to the Saints quick, overthrow, get off the field. Here's another one, really great play. So right here, now they seem to have adjusted a little bit, right? You've got this linebacker up on the edge. So in that tight front, they usually have guys that are playing out there that play that gap, that are playing the perimeter or run. They're like run responsible. So here you got one. You got a guy outside to tight end to force the run. They go to reach him, but he's able to beat the first guy across space. It slows the run down, and he gets some penetration on the D-line. Guys are able to come in and clean it up. So issue a little bit against East Carolina, issue on the first drive, but here, probably the third drive of the game, it's kind of fixed, right? This is what you want to see. Hey, guys, remember, do what you did in practice. Let's clean it up, make sure you have the edge, right? So that's good to see that they clean it up a little bit in game. And then on a third down, you're playing a little bit man coverage here. Again, you're showing a lot of rushers at the line of scrimmage. You actually drop one out, bring 2 from the edge. So you only bring 4, but you bring it in a way that's tough to pick up. In good position here, if they want to throw there, you're in good position underneath that. And then really good man-to-man coverage right here. And then fight through his hands to knock the ball away. He actually catches this ball, and the defensive back does a good job, at least Daquan Evans, of fighting through his hands and ripping the ball out. So that's really good. And again, bringing pressure.
That was beautiful defensive play too.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I'm mesmerized right now by that.
There's good stuff. I mean, there's some decent, and it wasn't all, some of it was that, they held Temple under 5 yards of play, which is pretty good. I think it was like 4.8, and they were over 5.5 or 6.5 against Navy. But here's what happens. Stuff like this happens too often. 3rd and 4, right here, you've got it. You nailed it. You played this perfectly. You didn't get caught up in the mesh, right? So they're just trying to run mesh, rub routes. Same thing USF got called for early in the game. They're trying to do the same thing. You're there. Make that tackle, get off the field. You miss the tackle and make it a first down. So it's you're there. You just got to make the play now. And he just gets out. You see, he's kind of still got his foot, just gets out of there. But that's not a scheme thing right there. Schematically, right now, you're perfect. If you put this picture up and said, Coach Scott, Coach Spencer, are you good with this? They'd say, yeah, we're good. Like 100%. Perfect. Mm-hmm. And then, you just miss the tackle. And that's what I think Jeff Scott referenced, a few missed throws, a few missed tackles. And this is probably one of the ones he's talking about. When you get off the field on 3rd down, you got to take advantage of it. Here's another just little mistake. And again, I think this is Daquan Evans again, so he's not played a ton. But I'm coming through the inside here. I'm just giving up the outside, which is not what I want to do. You want to take away the outside, make him turn back into all this pursuit coming, right? Don't just give up the outside. So right there, he goes through, he gives up the outside. And a play that probably should have gone for 3 or 4, you know. Because right here, if he's out here, he's got to turn back to Boyles right there. He can't run. He can't avoid Boyles anymore. Boyles comes in here and blows this guy up. If he stays on the outside edge, he's got to turn back. He's either going to run to my free arm or he's got to turn back to Boyles, and this is a tackle made for probably no gain. Instead, turns into 10-yard play. Then here's this is kind of a mix of a good route and having a little bit of time to throw, because this thing takes a long time to develop, and this is really tough on a defensive back. When the guy's got enough time to basically run a whip and then turn it into a wheel, you know, you can do a better job, but that's a tough one to defend. But still, good route, good throw, tough to beat. But you got to do a little bit better job there, but more pressure could probably help you out a little bit too. They kind of bring it, but it just doesn't get there. So you end up rushing 5.
Is Wayne Boyles on a delayed blitz there, or is he waiting for the running back to try to sneak out, and then if not,
I think he might be like adding on. So he sees the back stay in, and now he can add into the blitz.
Mm-hmm.
Might be that, or he might, you know. So it could just be a late add on. But you kind of you run a blitz, you play man.
It doesn't. You just hope your guy is better than their guy, basically, and in this instance, it wasn't.
Yeah, you hope the blitz gets there. But, I mean, Russo gets a really long drop or makes a good throw. In a good route by a really good receiver. But here's a good job later in the game. Talk about setting the edge. This is Bellamy right here. Tight end comes to him. Set the edge with my outside arm free. Now I got to cut back, and now you've let those defensive guys inside win a little bit. And I believe your corner, KJ Sales, is getting up in the fight too. So he sees the motion, and now he sees the number 1 block. He can just come and fill right now, which he does. So this is a really good rep right here to see. And then you got the backside pursuit with Boyles coming flat down the line.
I will say, I mean, we discussed it on the podcast about how the secondary hasn't quite played up to the standards. But I think it's clear that the second, at least KJ and Mike Hampton, they're smart in their recognition of plays. I just think they're getting beat on some routes here. But that's kind of a prime example. I think KJ kind of saw the open play that was going to be there and just went for it.
Yeah. He's had games where he's played the run really well. So they're not afraid to get in there and mix it up, and that's good. Here, so when they showed some pressures on some third downs, now they're going to drop guys out, make you like beat them with the ball, beat them with the throw and the tight coverage. You got to throw it high here, and then a great catch by McCloud Point, one-handed catch.
Beautiful.
Really good catch. Off of what looks like they're almost Sales is down here. So it looks like Sales is playing like a nickel spot. And he actually looks like he's going to get back to get deep third. And they might be playing 3 out of this. Or some type of 3 deep look. Or maybe like a Tampa 2 look with him being the middle linebacker. But great break on the ball. Good play on it. The old tip drill. And now you get the offense great field position.
And it looks like you get pressure with 3, right?
Yeah, you got
at least it looked like it.
You got some push. I believe that's Blake Green there.
That's fantastic, because I feel like the entire year, I feel like they've been struggling getting pressure at all, even with a blitz. But
so you get a little pressure, you push the pocket a little bit, make him throw into a tight window, and that's what happens if you're not really accurate. But they had some good plays too. This is one this is one I kind of put this one on here because this is one that USF's run a version of this on offense a bunch, and they just haven't pulled the trigger on it. But this is one you just got to throw it like Russo does here. You get them, you're clearing out with this. He's going to kind of delay and run a wheel behind it. We call that kind of a trail route back in the old day. And then he's going to bubble out, draw his eyes. He's going to clear out the deep defender. And now you got to throw it on a rope there, and your guy still might get hit. But you got to throw it in that window when it's there. That's one that USF's had drawn up a few times, but quarterbacks have been reticent to throw it in that tight window. You got to let it rip and throw it in there. Here's another interception here. An excellent return. Poor Antonio Greer gets taken down by the turf monster. But this is just like straight, they're locking up and they're physical. And you also see you got some movement up front, and they're bringing some pressure. So they didn't totally sit back the whole game. They're trying to bring pressure. Kind of a bad throw here, but you're trailing the play, and then you see the turf monster come up here shortly. I believe it's right. It's going to happen here-ish. Oh. Got it. He could have been the lead blocker, but the sniper got him. The turf monster came up and bit him. But good aggressiveness, I think, and scheme. And watch how these guys get up in the receivers. Maybe had a hold, but you know what? They didn't call it, so.
If they don't call, it doesn't happen.
It never happened. And then here's the final touchdown. This is more of like or not the final touchdown. This might be one of the later plays we have on here. This is pretty good coverage right here. This is just a young guy. You got to snap your head around. If he snaps his head around, he probably makes a play on the ball. But that's a really good receiver right there, and you're right there in his hip pocket. I mean, you got to make a really good throw, and Russo does. And that's a tough catch right there. And if he's got his head around, if he sees those eyes, and the receiver does a good job of showing his hands really late. He doesn't throw his hands up. He throws them out really late there. So it's tough. But if he turns his head around, he probably makes a play on the ball. But he's right in his hip pocket right there. That's not bad coverage on one of the better receivers in the conference in Brandon Mack. They got guys on scholarship too.
What?
Yep. All right, let's get to the offense. So we'll start with the first big play there. You got called back by penalty. You got 3rd and 6. We talked about last week not wanting, don't always leave 7 guys in so we can throw, get them out in the route. And if they blitz, have some answers. Well, this is a great job right here. You got the wheel route. You got a mesh right here, which is great against man coverage, great against the blitz. You got they can do a variety of things. They can do a go, they can do a corner, they can do an out route right here, but he's going to get vertical. He's going to come sit over the ball. There, wheel. So the wheel kind of expands, and then if you don't like one of the shallows coming across, you've got that sit over the ball coming late. And it's executed really well, except you don't need to pick here. You don't need to run into them. You just need to rub. So right here, if he just stays tight and almost avoids this guy, I mean, you can run at him and then try to duck, but you cannot just run into him. This is what ends up happening here. I think he tries to avoid him a little bit at the end.
Yeah, it looks like
it's too late by then, And this
it also looks like he got a little.
And he got pushed a little bit, but
yeah, I was about to say he got pushed into more than anything. It looked like.
But this is a great blitz beater, and pretty good protection, and a good job stepping up in the pocket by the quarterback here. find your shallow crosser. And now he's got room to run after the catch. And as we mentioned on the podcast last night, the receivers and backs do a great job of trying to block after the catch. And he gets down to 5, gets called back for a penalty. So, case for us. So next drive, 2nd and 10. Here's the first fumble. Not much you can do here if you're McCloud. Obviously, you want to have a little bit better ball security as you come up through the pocket. I'm sure that's something they drill all the time. But your right tackle gets beat here pretty quick off the line. What's nice to see here is these guys do a pretty good job. They try to run a little game here. And they do a really good job inside of picking it up. So right there, they picked that game up really well. You're good here. You just had a miss right there.
I will say when 4 of your 5 offensive linemen look really, really good, that's usually a really good sign. But
yeah, so that's not, this is something that could be fixed or, personnel could be changed. If it's one guy, then you can try to find somebody. But this isn't, it's just one guy getting beat off the line. Like McCloud to kind of get up in there, kind of recognize it hopefully a little bit sooner and really rip through and get up in, climb the pocket. But, there's not much you can do when it gets on you that fast. So the next drive here, they get a good return out to the 49, Temple 49. So they're starting in good field position. They're just going to start with they got a little zone slice here. But then they also got where you got some hitches here. So it's an RPO. So this is someone that could be thrown, and they throw it later. And here, that's how you can tell it's an RPO. Watch how the tackle comes off the ball. If he's coming out flat for run, it could be play action. It could be just a straight run. But when he kind of hinges back like this, that's more of a pass look. He's not coming off the ball. And you pick up a good gain on 1st down. And then 2nd down, you come back with pretty much the same idea here. They go so fast, we'll just let it run. But the exact same play, pretty much. He's off. So the quarterback can kind of decide pre-snap if he likes any of these. Like, I wouldn't be mad if the quarterback threw it out here when the guy's 7 yards off. But he likes to give. Ford bounces it, picks up a 1st down. So it's just simplicity in the run game with the RPO stuff. It can be simple. Here's something more complex. This is something that the Ravens like to run with Lamar Jackson. So you're running quarterback counter one way. And then the back's away. So back away, people call it bash. B-A, back away.
Mm-hmm.
So the back's going away. If I feel he's coming to me, I just give it to the back. And now you got good angles right here. If he widened with the back, I would have kept it up in here, followed this guy as he made it through the hole there. But you give it to the back, another, easy pickup for a 1st down. Getting your guys on the edge, letting them make plays. Here we have the touchdown. So motion, you can use motion to kind of confirm coverage or give your quarterback a good idea of what they're coming out in. To the play side, he's going to get vertical to the corner. He's going to get vertical after he goes to the corner, right off his heels to the post, to the deep slant. They're at the 12 or the 13, 14-yard line, so it's not a true post, but pretty close to it. On this side, you're running smash. So if it's too high look, you don't have to worry about this safety creeping as much because you have the smash route. You have kind of a one high look here. So it's just kind of you're thinking probably man. But this is kind of what you got to watch here is using this Right, this is the guy that's guarding St. Felix, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I just use that as a natural pick as he runs vertical to the corner. Just use it as a natural pick, run off his feet, and that's how I get myself that open. So good design here. And the corner blitz is kind of a perfect call. And good job right here by the left tackle recognizing the corner blitz and getting out to it. So pretty good pocket, good throw, good design, all good stuff. 2nd and 14. 3rd and long, obvious screen down, right? 2nd and long, not as much. A lot of people like to run the ball on 2nd and long to try to get themselves into maybe a little bit more 3rd and maybe a little bit more manageable. Because, if I throw an incomplete pass on 2nd and long, it becomes 3rd and long for sure. But it's a good screen down, especially with Temple showing blitz the play before and a lot of aggressiveness rushing the passer. You get blitz right here. This is not like a crazy, super unbelievable screen, but you got 3 coming out. First guy's going to kind of kick, and the next 2 are looking to climb. So forward, he can kind of set up that first block, get inside of it, and then he can go. So pretty well blocked here. Good timing on the call. It looks like they actually go with kick, climb, and then he's the rat killer. So he'll stay back behind anybody that any defensive lineman that kind of figured it out and starts retracing to run to the screen. Your 3rd lineman's going to be you call him the rat. Your 3rd lineman's going to be the rat killer. He'll block him. Good clean block. And you pick up the first down on 2nd and long. So good timing, good time to call it, and well executed. Here's a play action shot that you'd like to hit because I think you get exactly what you want out of it. Just left it a little short. But as the ball's in the air here, he's already having to slow down. If you can lead him out, he's won. This should be a touchdown with a really good throw. You end up getting a pass interference out of it, but these are the ones you want to convert. So again, good design. Fake here, and then you're going to run some eye candy across for the safety on the crosser, and then a deep post over the top. So you hold the safety a little bit with the run play and the deep crosser. This thing just got to be thrown to the end zone. If you throw that thing to the end zone, he probably doesn't have to slow down at all. He can go get it. Because right here, when you first see him in the picture, he's behind them. He's already having to slow down because of the throw. But if you give him a chance to go get that thing, you probably have a touchdown right there. So Jordan played pretty well. Or he played, probably good enough to win, scoring that many points. He could have played better, though. And it's stuff like this. If he could hit some of these shots, then they become really dangerous on offense. If not, people will keep taking chances of loading up the box. So here's something that's probably – so that same RPO we saw the last drive, the split flow, hitch. This might be automatic. I know last year they ran routes that had conversions. So, let's say this is the same play and he's got the hitch called. Well, if the corner's rolled up at 2 yards, I don't want to run a hitch because what's the point? So he'll convert it to a go route. But still the same RPO look. Right here, he's filling. I know I got man coverage out here. I just got to trust my guy to win. And Dukes kind of bosses this guy, uses his physicality, and then you get a well-placed ball, let the receiver run to it, put some air underneath it, and a nice, easy touchdown. All pretty much the same look as the last play, off the run plays off the last drive.
If we can do this kind of play, like every play, we would probably win. Yeah.
All the games, yeah.
All the
you
games.
Can score a touchdown every play. But this is what you have to do when people are going to play man and get in your face, which you will see this week. You got to be physical, win at the line of scrimmage, and make them pay for it. If you don't make them pay, they'll never get out of it, and then it's going to hurt you in other phases. So again, another RPO look here. Kind of bending it into here. I think you got hitches down at the bottom. So right here, hitches. This might be the levels concept where you got one coming in here, one bending in here at the second window. So as he kind of widens out, I can throw it in the second window there. And then this is a guy you just want to get the ball to, I think, going forward. Because can you remember a time all year where the first guys tackled him? He always seems to get away from the first guy.
He kind of reminds, and this is kind of a stretch, but the Jaguars rookie wide receiver Laviska Shenault. I was watching his film from Colorado, and they just don't go down on first contact.
Yeah,
as a wide receiver, which is kind of rare.
And he's not like a big slow guy either. He's a explosive dude, and so is Shenault. But he's a pretty big dude. But I think that's the guy you want to get the ball to more, and he seems to be playing a lot more as the season goes, which is a good thing. We kind of liked him. I mentioned that I liked him a lot in the first after game one when I saw him on special teams smoking some people. So I'm glad to see him get a little bit more playing time. Here, just split zone. Same kind of RPO look here, right? He kind of backs off. So I can give it. And then Johnny Ford, get him in the open field. He can do some stuff, right? So here's the touchdown for Noah Johnson. They try to kind of replicate on the goal line there. This works, but it's not super clean. Good design with the misdirection, but so you got motion here. They want to pin, and then pull the guards on both sides. So like a buck sweep, and then you're going to have the running back as another lead blocker, right? It works, but you get a great – receiver does a good job, but you don't get a great pin here. But you have extra blockers coming, so it kind of works out. Later in the game, they don't get a great pin, and you'll see in the next play, and it doesn't really work out too well. And this one, I think what makes this play work here, because right here, without motion away, you're outnumbered, right? Like what if they don't motion this outside receiver away, you don't have good numbers there, right? Once they motion, that's where you lose some of these guys, right? He's gone. He bumped back inside the box. He's trying to get downhill and getting taken up. So you don't have all that outnumbered outside the numbers here, right? Whereas we'll go now to the 2-point play. You didn't want to do it too early, so you leave. You don't want to do it too late, so you just skip right to the end. It's somewhere in the middle. You got to find it. So similar look here, right? He's got a tight split. Instead of motioning a guy away, we're going to motion a guy to it. Why does it not matter that much? Because once you put the receiver out here, it's just going to be straight zero man. So they're not really involved in the play. If you motion him back away, you can maybe take a couple different people's eyes. Right now you have just one set of eyes on him, one set of eyes on him, every other set of eyes here. And then now you bring the motion to the call. And then, it's kind of this could be on the player, it could be on the call, but if you're trying to pin this guy here, you control where you end up on your motion. Get out here so I have an angle. Right now I've got no angle. And I just get bench pressed. And I don't have a good...
Is he supposed to be doing a a little like shimmy shake right there? Like
I think he's supposed to come
and
in and just pin here. He's supposed to pin there, and then you got the guard pull in for the defensive backs and the back leading, right? I think is what the idea is. But if you don't get these two pins, then the play's dead. So right here, you don't get the pin from the tight end. So now this thing's strung out. And unless these guys do a great job and just be like, okay, I got to get vertical right now, this play's strung out, you've got no shot. The back tries to help, but now it's too late. And then you lose 4 yards. So it was the same exact play. But I think, I bet as they watch it, they realize that it wasn't exactly the play that worked the first time. While it was well designed, it was more of the window dressing around the play. It was the motion that pulled guys out of there. And this time I motioned guys into it. It just wasn't, the best, probably most sound way to do it. And I think it could just be that I think Mitch Brinkman got hurt on the drive before or earlier in this drive, and now he's in. Maybe he hasn't run this play a ton because it was Mitch Brinkman the first time they ran it. So maybe Mitch Brinkman gets out here and gets the angle. And if this block gets set, that's really kind of it. If this block gets set on the edge, so right here, if this block is set there, well, now your guard's pulling out here for this corner, and you have the running back for the next guy, and you have your other guard coming to kind of shore up the inside there.
And we look like geniuses.
And it looks a lot better, right? So
yeah.
if this guy's here, now he's there, he's coming for the next dude. Now St. Felix kind of whiffs, but you'd have a chance, right? But that first block kind of kills it, and then I think bringing the motion to it is also a killer. Just looking at a couple more things. This is another one I thought was kind of a killer, and it's really bad when you look at it from the other angle. This is after, I believe this is after the weird kickoff, right? The short kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? Or maybe after the interception? One of the two. They got a turnover. You got a short field. One thing Jeff Scott and Charlie Weiss Jr. have done a lot, and I'm sure people have taken notice of, is after turnovers, they go to trick plays or they go to try to hit big explosive plays right after a turnover to kind of maximize that momentum switch. They tried the jet sweep pass with Johnny Ford after a turnover earlier. They try kind of a trick play here. So stretch, reverse, safety's here. You're going to have a post take away anybody that's left in the middle of the field and this corner. So right here, this is the guy guarding the tight end. This is the tight end. It's over, but you don't get a good throw. And it's especially egregious. This is one of the ones, McCloud would definitely want back. This is if he can start hitting these kind of gimme shots, then they become, like I said earlier, the one of Latrobe is really dangerous. It's most egregious.
It looks like the ball just it gets weight to it midway through while it being in the air and just drops.
Yeah, there's a little bit of pressure here, but I feel like he could probably right now just throw instead of having to try to side shuffle that. But you can see right here, this is the corner that's supposed to be over there. He's gone. Here's the linebacker. He's got 5 yards on him. If that thing's thrown out there, this is an easy touchdown and a great design. Instead, it ends up being a pass interference, which you're like, okay, whatever, still pass interference, right? Well, here's the next play. Fumble. On probably, it seems like a miscommunication up front, because it looks to be a quarterback draw the whole way. I don't know why he's setting back here so hard. It might be a stick draw or something, an RPO. But you run in the back of your lineman, you fumble. And instead of having a touchdown the play before and going up 28-17 going into the half, you fumble and the score stays the same. But it's not like you lost a close game or anything.
No, not at all.
So so that's the kind of stuff that if we can get that fixed, right? If I'm in the room and I'm like, we can get that fixed, I'm in really good shape. Another look, same RPO as earlier on the bender inside. Good throw it again. First guy doesn't bring him down. More Dollison, please. The more you get him the ball, the better, I think.
God, he just doesn't fucking go down.
Yeah, he's tough, man. He's a tough dude. Good run here on split zone. Again, looks like the RPO. So if the corners are rolled up, these guys can convert it to a go route, it would appear. Split zone. So if you're wondering what they're doing, split zone RPO. Good job by the back here. Really good job by the tight end, too. He comes across, this guy goes, and he just kind of goes to the next one. He's like, all right, the quarterback can sort that out, you know. Back makes a nice cut. Good run on your RPO look here. Then you got a third and long. This is something I ran a little bit last year. Toss read him. He comes at me. I toss it. If he were to widen out there, I would follow this big guard right behind him. Blocked it pretty well up front, too. So you see right here, if that guy had gone and McCloud would have had to keep it, you're in good shape there, too. And this is like a 3rd and 14. But guy forced the pitch. So that means you get Johnny Ford on the perimeter. Receivers do a good job blocking. You pick up the first down.
Sorry, they call that on a 3rd and 14. I either feel like that's a genius play call knowing the situation, but I also feel like our fan base, if this didn't work, like if Johnny goes down there, Bryce Miller gets a poor block, I feel like they, put Charlie Weiss Jr.'s head on the chopping block there.
Yeah, but there's not many good plays for 3rd and 14, so this was a pretty good one because he did have a few options that would work there. Here's the touchdown to Ford, so you got what they're trying to do, and they tried to hit this a few times. It hasn't worked yet, but it's been open a little bit. Clear him out, him on a shallow. He looks like he's going to run to the flat. He's going to run an angle route in behind here. You may have had it right here, but right in there. But you had a little bit of pressure. McCloud does a good job escaping, throwing to the back of the end zone, and then Johnny Ford makes an incredible catch at the back of the end zone. But
5'5" Johnny Ford looking like he's a fucking Antonio Brown back there.
You had a little angle route. Those Miami guys, they can all do that.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the fumble. This is one where I don't know why McCloud would have wanted to keep it. Because this guy's not closing like crazy. You could say maybe he is, but just give it because you got a pretty good – this is blocked up pretty good right there. When in doubt, give it. So that one's tough. Come back to the toss read. Same thing earlier. Reading this guy. If he comes at me, I keep it. If he goes inside like that, I pitch it and just use my speed to get to the edge there. And a good hard run by Johnny Ford. Split zone, another hard run. This is the last drive of the game here, so you're seeing some running the ball. Here's a nice little concept, especially looking to – you got an old staple from last year. McCloud knows this read, forwards and backwards, a little smash action. They roll to it. It's an easy read. I just got to read the corner. Does he drop, take the hitch? Does he kind of sit on the hitch and throw the corner over his head? Well, Marion Dollison, that guy gets open again, makes a good throw to the sideline. That's like the perfect throw for the 2-minute drill, right? Pick up about 15 to 20, get out of bounds. So just a simple smash route. One of our favorites.
Works 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah, 60% of the time, it works every time. So
it's beautiful.
Yeah. So that was it. Some good stuff. A lot. This is probably the longest one of the season.
I was about to say, but there's a lot of
there's some good things this game. So when there's good stuff, you want to show it. And we will also look at the bad stuff just to see what maybe the idea was and what can be improved. But I'd say pretty positive performance for the most part. Just got to avoid some of those negative plays and hit some of those shots, and then we'll be playing a lot better.
There you go. Well, Seth, always informative, always, roping me back into believing that this team can turn it around and really just put the hurt on a team. So I look forward to seeing how some of these concepts kind of roll over into a team that has probably a little bit better of a secondary
Yeah.
than Temple. Obviously, Tulsa's got a pretty worthwhile secondary that's done pretty good so far this year.
Yeah, I think Tulsa's a big step up from Temple in terms of quality. So
Yeah.
if USF's able to move the ball offensively, which they weren't able to do consistently against Temple, but they did at times and were able to score touchdowns, which is the name of the game, right? If they're able to do that against Tulsa, I think you have to feel really good as where the team's headed as the season goes. You're seeing the progress. If they don't, then you're kind of back where you were after the Cincinnati game. It's kind of the same. When you play good defense, you're not good enough. So we'll see. It'll be an interesting test.
Let's hope for the best here. I want a fun game for once at home, and I think Jeff Scott knows the dire need to win this game. So hopefully we'll see these players really come out and play for him.
National TV Friday night. We'll see if they pull out the bag of tricks.
Oh yes. Well, as always, Seth, thanks so much, and make sure to like and subscribe. And Seth obviously has his breakdown for what we're going to see from Temple coming out here soon. So from the Daily Stampede, I'm at Robert Steeg Life and at Seth Varnadore here, and go Bulls.
Bulls.